Studio 5 is a couple of things. It's a lifelong dream, I think, for both of us.
Yeah.
Fully realizing a photo studio,
Yeah.
all the way from the beginning of becoming interested in photography, to then going to art school, and then graduating, and then trying to figure out how long it's going to take before we just get fed up with not having space to work in, and then finding it.
So the first 5 years we did everything we could out of the house, and the basement is only like 6 or 7 feet tall, and you'd have to drag your equipment out of the basement and set it up and do
Push
your
all
shoot.
the furniture out of the way, try and make it as empty as possible.
And after doing that for 3 or 4 years, we were like, we need a space where we can just stay set up all the time, have a big ceiling so we can move stuff around.
Yep. And somewhere that's conveniently located. A lot of our subjects live and work in these areas that surround us down here in Graffiti Alley.
Or 2 blocks from the Eagle.
Or 2 blocks from the Eagle, so we can catch all these girls and all these queens, all these performers before their shows, and bring them over here. Get them in at 6, have them out by 8. Everybody's at the show by 9. It usually runs pretty smoothly. But,
and then we follow them to the show and
Yeah. photograph
the show.
and photograph
So
more.
Yeah.
It was circa 2011. We met online. But it was after the world-renowned, arts festival called Burning Man. So he recognized me out there. I'm just walking by. Fast forward like 2 weeks after we get back, and then he sees me at Grand Central Station down the street. And then we started talking online. I recognized his photo because it was actually taken on the playa. You could see all the cracked ground, all the dust, and I was like, I recognize that desert. And that's when I sent him a message. I was like, have you been to that thing in the desert?
Yeah, I just got back.
And that's where it all began.
Yeah.
So after that, I think it was like 2 days before my birthday. It was in like September.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, you want to hang out? I'm still decompressing from that amazing experience.
And I said yes.
And the rest was history. Now we are 8 years into it, and we've been married for almost 2.
Yep.
So, here's to many more.
How is LGBT photography important? It's always been super important, and I think that it's been a lot of it's been lost. And we've got a lot of good talent, entertainment-wise, and we also have a lot of good talent, documentary-wise, here in Baltimore.
Absolutely.
So it's great to have tons of people shooting what's out there. I mean, when I was coming up, we were lucky if we had 1 show a month. Now you've got like 3 shows a night.
And
it's
6 drug brunches. All over town. It's great. Don't give up, girls. Well, I think our binaries have been established since the beginning of time, and have been pushed on us, all throughout at least my adolescence. I'm sure your adolescence.
More than my adolescence. Yeah.
Boys will be boys and girls will be girls, and we need to keep this imaginary wall up between who can wear what or say what or act like what. Forget all that. That's people have been trying to break that binary for the longest time. And I'm glad to see that it's finally reaching a level where it's more accessible for more people. That's one positive aspect of social media. Being able to see so many different fashion designers and different looks, different musicians, different artists, all experimenting with different looks and pushing those boundaries away. Removing that from the entire situation, but at the same time not forgetting where it all came from. This is a sense of righteous rebellion. We want to be able to express ourselves as the beings that we are, which are humans. We're just skeletons walking around with a meat coating on them, and
a dress.
And a dress, or some slacks, get a cute shoe, you're ready to go. It shouldn't matter, what defines us as masculine or feminine. I think they're really interesting terms. They definitely set up that divide. But I think the non-binary, culture is such an eye-opening experience. It really brings a lot of stuff that you don't typically see into your vision, and then you're like, oh wow, that actually looks really good. It's like you got to kind of break away from what other people are telling you to believe and start thinking for yourself.
Going out, the nightlife, being away from work, our real jobs, because we're both managers, and that makes us work 50, 60 hours a week. and it's really hard to get down here, to push ourselves to be here at 7 o'clock. But when we're here from 7 to 11, it's like our day jobs, the default world, escapes, and we can just focus on what we love to do.
The best photograph I've ever taken probably started when I was photographing at the Hippo. We miss her very much. The drag queen, shocker, right? Me photographing drag queens. The print was, a photograph of this anonymous drag queen's legs. She's wearing these gorgeous silver boots, and she's on the scuffed up dance floor doing a number, clenching money, and her arm is slightly out of focus, but her legs are there, and I think that her positioning in the photo, the way that she was reacting to, the music that was on, really, was sort of a candid moment, I was just figuring out my flash at the time, on how to, really get those good shots without everything being blown out. So after a couple of practice moments, I finally, got my own aesthetic going, and I like to take that candid approach. I like things to be slightly, premeditated, but it depends on the situation. It depends on who you're photographing.
So that's your favorite photograph?
That's my favorite photograph. Yeah, I would say so. What about you? What's your favorite
Mine
photograph?
changes from week to week. You ask me today, and it's this one. You ask me next week, and it's something else. I think it's whatever I'm working on at the moment. The sections behind you, I'm getting ready to turn into paintings.
So you paint. How did you get started in that?
I don't paint.
Oh, you don't paint?
I got started this week.
Oh, congratulations!
Exploring new mediums.
Try that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like rough and gruff stuff. Graffiti Alley really inspires me. I never thought that I'd think that, but now that I'm living here, it's like I just want to do something else too, as well. Who are our biggest supporters?
The community here in Baltimore. Can I underline that twice?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 times. The community in Baltimore, and I don't even want to just pigeonhole it to just drag queens or just nightlife culture, but or the art world. We have so many supporters, all up and down the East Coast, all the way out to California. Friends, family, fans. We have people who love to see what we do, and it's just such a rewarding experience to hear that from people when you don't expect it. And I hardly ever expect it, but when it happens, it's just like, oh my God, thank you. I almost want I almost want to tear up a little bit, and it's a genuinely good feeling to be giving back to the community in ways that I never thought I could. Without having a space that is so conveniently located, within all the different points of our queerdom or our world. There's a lot to work with, and we have a lot of people who are there for us, who support what we do, and I can't wait to see what happens.
It's also important, and I think we're lucky in this respect, that our parents and our families are also super supportive of us.
It's
and
great to have
get
family
it.
who loves it.
I think they'd like to see us shooting something else, but they saw our article and they were like, well, that's
very artsy.
Very artsy.
It was very artsy, which is a high compliment coming from my family. You can find us on Facebook. We are Studio 5 Baltimore. We have a website, studio5baltimore.com. And then, of course, we have Instagram. You can @ us at Studio 5 Baltimore. Give us a shout. Send us a message.
Follow us.
Like our page. Support us. We're here for the community. We really want to
what's the Venmo?
put ourselves out there. Oh yeah, our Venmo is Studio 5 Baltimore.
That's a clever one. Where'd you come up with
Studio
that?
5 Baltimore. I knew it was easy.